The young people of Africa, Eswatini, anywhere else,
Right.
will not be troubled by the problems of our time, but they'll be troubled by the perspective we have of the problems of our time.
That's powerful.
It is perception that will influence whether we rise up to the challenge or we actually die down.
Hi guys, this is EraAfrica. My name is Noctula Mkwena. I'm a mentor at EraAfrica. I'm very excited today to introduce to you our series of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month here at EraAfrica. We know it's Women's Month this month. Some people have used it for Women's Month, but we have thought it important that we discuss the critical issue of mental health, because we are aware that it is affecting our mentors, our mentees, and the society at large. Today, to discuss this topic with us is our mentor, Mr. Siyabonga Mabuza. Welcome to EraAfrica, and thank you for giving yourself time to discuss this critical topic in this time. Please introduce yourself to our mentors and our mentees.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mkwena, for that introduction. My name is Mabuza Siyabonga. Some prefer to say Mr. Mabuza Siyabonga, but I prefer Siya. That's who I am.
Yeah.
So I'm one young man who's passionate with mental health and mental health related issues. It's a humbling privilege for me to come to such a wonderful platform. Briefly about me, yes, as you have said, the month of May is a very beautiful month because a special person in my heart was born in the same month. I actually I proposed this month. I got hitched this month.
This
So
month
the
of
month
May.
of May has got those blessing vibes.
Great.
But they all depend on your state of mental well-being. Hence, appreciate the subject of mental health. I work with students in as far as UNISWA is concerned, where I facilitate a few courses and I supervise them when they go for their practical attachment. Basically, I'm a nurse. That's my brief background. I'm a nurse standing on the wonderful arena of mental health. Yeah, that's who I am, Ms. Mukun.
So, Mr. Siyabonga, thank you so much for introducing yourself to us today. Yeah, it's a huge pleasure that you could be here. As Velesi, let's get to what we are here to discuss.
Okay.
We are seeing a growing crisis of mental health in our society. There are pointers that are pointing to it, but at first, people just want to, in as much as I think there are so many initiatives that are talking about mental health, but I'm thinking someone else also still just wants to say, what is mental health and what is Noctula saying? Nagati, there is a crisis here, mental health. Yes.
Okay, let's appreciate what WHO says about mental health.
Okay.
WHO has a lengthy definition of mental health, but I like the aspects that are involved in it. WHO defines mental health as a state whereby an individual is aware and understands his abilities, can cope with the daily stresses of life, can maintain and sustain healthy relationships amidst difficulties, maintain a state of being productive and fruitful. That is what we call mental health. This person understands his abilities. That's the starting point. Number two, this person can actually cope with the daily stresses. Over and above that, this person appreciates the fact that now you cannot survive in an island. You need people, so you sustain relationships, you build relationships, the power of networking, because your connection will determine your collection. Mentally healthy people know when to let go and know when to connect. And then over and above that, the most important thing is to remain productive and fruitful. But I have my personal definition for our listeners. For me, mental health is nothing but the ability to self-manage amidst any situation.
Okay.
It's basic self-management. And once we touch on the subject of self-management, some other people begin to ask, who am I? If you're talking about self, are you talking about my past self? Are you talking about my present self? Are you talking about my future self? So we need to create some kind of a common ground definition of what self is all about. When I speak about self-management, I like to zero my focus to the understanding of the pentadimension of human beings. In simple terms, the 5 aspects of self-care.
Okay.
What we all have. Starting point, we are all physical. We all have our physical well-being. Our physical well-being has to do with the state of our body. Are your cells functioning the way they're supposed to function? Are your tissues, your organs well coordinated in situation? Why do we focus on physical health? Physical health as an element of mental health becomes important because it is only the physical part of individuals that is a book. Anything that happens in your emotions, I cannot see your emotions right now, but your physical being can tell me. If you smile, I already know how you are feeling emotionally. If you start crying, the crying is physical, but it sends a message about your emotional well-being. If you are depressed, then the downcast and the somber state of your facial appearance is not necessarily in the physical well-being, but the physical well-being has become a book for your emotions. So we appreciate that when we speak about self, the first important aspect is the physical aspect. You know, do you eat well? Do you take care? Now that's where we've got issues of hypertension, issues of diabetes, peptic ulcers, cardiac issues. You mentioned it. COVID-19 is entirely physical because it's a virus affecting your physical well-being. But these viruses affecting your physical being then affects the other aspects that make up an individual or that make up yourself in terms of understanding self. So we are physical, we are also mental. In short, we can in a nutshell say you are cognitive in terms of your thinking patterns and your thought patterns. So what happens to your physical well-being affects the state of your thought processes and how you think. Now, the way you think will influence how you feel in terms of your emotional well-being. Now, the way you feel will determine whether you relate with people or you do not relate with people. That's your psychosocial well-being, depending on the school of thought. Some other people simply say your social well-being. And then last but not least, like what you think about affects your philosophies and in sum total your belief system. So when we speak about self, we are speaking about your physical being, your mental well-being, cognitive well-being, your emotional well-being, your psychosocial well-being, as well as your spiritual well-being in terms of your philosophies. So if I say mental health is all about self-management in situation, I'm simply trying to say mental health is the ability to keep in check your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, your psychosocial well-being, your spiritual well-being, as well as your cognitive well-being in situation.
Thank you so much for that. Actually, it's a mouthful and very educational, and also this big wealth city mental health. And also to apologize, because for me I said we have a mental health crisis, but from your definition is the rephrase from mental health deterioration crisis, because now mental health is as you've described it, the basic well-being and how we handle ourselves, the self-management. But when the deterioration comes, when we now can no longer do that, now we are talking about young people, we are talking about the youth, we are talking about African young people. EraAfrica is their time, but they are waking up to many things that are causing the deterioration in the ability to self-manage. So there's a lot of stressors in our time. Maybe we can go into the fact that what are the things that can make the deterioration, the stressors that lead to people then not being able to manage themselves well.
Okay, let's build a case, Ms. Mukwena, and to our dear listeners. The greatest crisis of all times presents the greatest opportunities of all time. So first things first, let's deal with perspective. The young people of Africa, Eswatini, anywhere else, will not be troubled by the problems of our time, but they'll be troubled by the perspective we have of the problems of our time.
That's powerful.
It is perception that will influence whether we rise up to the challenge or we actually die down. because I want to believe that this is the greatest time. Actually, as you are saying the word African, I'm reminded of the fact that now it's only American and African, the only two kind of nationalities that end with I can.
Oh, okay.
Power of perspective.
African.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you speak to a typical African child, what is your I can during COVID-19? What is your I can during a phase that says it's all doom, it's all gloom? Like, what is your I can?
Okay.
So what we need to continually work on is our perspective of the time. What opportunities are there? So long as we are using lenses that make us feel defeated, that make us feel like it's all hopeless,
Yeah.
you know, because it depends on whether you believe in the universe or you believe in God. But the truth of the matter is, the strength or the magnitude of challenges tend to prove the potential that people have.
Wow.
I want to believe we will make sense of that.
Yeah, let's say it again.
The strength or the magnitude of challenges that we go through tend to speak a language of the potential that people have. Maybe let's bring in a principle. Our lives are only 10% what happens to us, and they're 90% how we respond to it. So to a typical African child out there, 5 years from now, we will be judged by our responses. How do we respond to it? But our response will be influenced by our perspective.
Okay.
And our perspective begins from a place that says, I can, I am able. You see, because it's a time that demands a lot of responsibility. And responsibility is not rocket science. It's just a conjugation of two words, respond and ability. You cannot respond unless you understand your ability.
Right.
What's the ability of an African child? An African child has an ability to rise up to the occasion. Look for opportunities that will manifest your uniqueness. See, forgive my lengthy explanation, but let the African child know that we have two hands, a left hand and a right hand. Your right hand is a sum total of your gifts and your talents. And your left hand, in most cases, is weaker than your right hand. You train your left hand to do what your right hand does. That's the education system.
Right.
The left hand is our education system. It's the qualifications, it's the tertiary education. So when we are pushed towards a corner of hopelessness, so many of us look at our left hand. And when you focus on your left hand, you will miss the strength of your right hand.
Right.
This is an opportunity for young people to release their innovation, to release their ability to identify opportunities. Suppose it was true, because I'm a nurse, and one of the fields of nursing is midwifery. Suppose it was true that every child who is born, I'm speaking mental health,
Right.
every child who is born with his or her hands closed. We are born forming a fist.
Yeah.
There's one pastor who tells a joke. He says one child was born with his,
I hope I catch it.
with his hands closed like this.
Right.
You know, normally when a child is born, the child is supposed to cry to show that, hey, I'm here, welcome me.
Yeah.
So this child was born and the child was silent. And everybody was worried, why is the child?
Crisis, yeah.
And then they decided to spank the child on the buttocks.
Yeah.
You know, when they spanked the child opened the hands. And when she opened the hands, they found a lot of contraceptives, the loop, a lot of family planning things in the hands of the child.
Yeah.
And when the child was expected to cry, she said, no weapon famished against me shall prosper.
Yeah.
the joke.
Right.
But the long and short of it is, we were born with something in our hands. We need to zero our focus someday and ask ourselves, what is it that I was born to survive with if there was no education?
Yeah.
So the crisis we are in presents that opportunity, hospitality. You don't practice that.
Yeah.
Motivational speaking, you don't. It's innate. You can only refine it and polish it.
Yeah.
You're here doing. You're encouraging other people. You can make money out of it. But that does not mean we should then forsake our academic pursuits. They are equally important. Why do I say that?
Yeah.
So the left washes the right.
Yeah.
So you need the qualification, but you also need a backing. It says you are now stuck at home. You can't go for school. Crisis in terms of scholarships. You know, can you still survive? So you need to think without the box. That's what Liz Brown says. It says,
not outside, but without.
we've been advised to
Yeah.
think outside the box, but what if we were to remove the box?
Yeah.
And actually say, what can I do?
Yeah.
Africans are engineered and wired with brilliant ideas, but putting them on the ground, following them through, now is one challenge that we have. But you will agree with me, Miss Mokwena, a typical African child, the first battle you battle with the color of your skin. So already your self-concept has been messed up.
Yeah.
How can you initiate something when you are not confident in yourself?
Right.
So this is an era that says, wake up, African child, raise the giant in you.
And actually fly.
And
Yeah.
actually fly.
I mean, you've raised so many important points. I can't keep up, actually. So I think if you're watching this video, you need to watch it and watch it and watch it, so that each point actually you grab it and live by it. But it's the issue of perspective.
Yeah.
Now, I like how you are explaining how how we respond to these situations. But now, where we are, Mr. Mabuza, our perspective is already blurred, because we are fed even the perspective. So if COVID-19 comes, they already tell you your perspective should be fear, your perspective should be anxiety. It's already, you are given the news together with the perspective that you should follow. So, and then that's where the mental health deteriorates, because we don't even have choice. But now we want to speak to EraAfrica young people who will now, even though it said worry, but they'll be able to say, I take the worry out, and this is how I will look at this. So this is, I want you to talk about choice in responding.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Actually, I almost chipped in your sentiments. I agree with everything you've said, but I wanted to correct something.
Yes.
You said it looks like they're making choices for us.
Yeah.
I want us to start there.
Yeah.
There's no situation that ever deprives us our power of choice.
True.
No matter how dark it may be, you are never stripped of your power of choice. That builds up from the concept of your willpower. Actually, background study of what mental health is all about, some call it psych. Psych comes from the mind or from the soul. And when you zero your focus, try to study that, you will identify the power of the will, the willpower. Humanistic psychologists will tell you that human beings have got two powerful desires: the desire to grow, the desire to develop, but they all emanate from will.
Okay.
Once we understand the concept of our willpower,
Yeah.
we will know that no one ever takes from us the power of choice.
Right.
Now, let's try to build a case now. You said they tell us what to think. They tell us what to feel. They tell us, like, who are they? The they we are talking about is the external environment.
Yes, that's them.
See, so let's build a case that says we all exist in two spheres. I have an internal environment and an external environment. Now, if my internal environment is homeostatic, kind of stable, if I don't have an enemy within, I am positioned to fight the enemy outside. But if I have an enemy within, I've already been overcome by the enemy outside.
Yeah.
So what does that mean to us? We need to make a conscious decision to take a stand. It is the stand that will influence our behavior. You see, it is okay to be up to date with updates and COVID related information, political unrest related information, but you need to be aware of the impact it has on your psyche in terms of your thoughts, your feelings, as well as your philosophies.
Okay.
You highlighted a very important subject of fear. I like to connect it with anxiety, fear and anxiety. It is from the premise of what we hear that we fear.
Okay.
Now let's bring in a principle to young people. Your mind believes more what you say to yourself than what people say to you.
Okay.
So let WHO give you the updates, but
Yeah.
what do you tell yourself having listened to that? So mental health is the ability to regulate the arena of your thoughts. I watched TV. I saw an increase in the number of people taking Johnson & Johnson as a vaccine and dying because of clots.
Yeah.
You see, now it actually says to me, will I take it, will I not take it? I may do my own personal research.
Right.
But deep within myself, what do I tell myself?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the jab and it's not going to affect me.
Okay. But
As
that's
you
the
tell
thing.
yourself that your mind has a funny way of kind of throwing all the energy that says it
Right.
must work, it must work, it
And
must
agreeing
work.
with
What
you.
do you tell yourself?
Right. You're bringing an important point and a practical thing that young people or all of us can do. Self-talk. But we are in this time where do we have time even to self-talk? Because when I move from TV, I go to Instagram. When I move from Instagram, it's all these negative news.
Yeah.
I go to Twitter. When I go to Twitter, I go to Facebook and then I sleep. And then I wake up on Facebook. So what can you say in that aspect? And all of these things that I've talked about, they have positive news, yes. But they also have a lot of negative news. So the issue of self-talk, how do we approach it as we correct the deterioration of mental health in our society?
Okay. Sometimes I fear being so theoretical. I like to be practical.
Great.
So that I become relevant. But let me highlight a principle.
Okay.
Private discipline will always result to positive public display. Can I repeat that?
Yeah.
Private discipline will result to positive public display. So many of us are quick to go for public display and invest less in private discipline.
Okay.
I'm trying to say, in the business of our lives, there are very few of us who spend time with themselves. Where you zero your focus, you have a meeting and the agenda is me.
Yeah.
Am I growing? Am I stagnant? Am I thriving? Am I coping? Or am I just on pilot mode? So many of us, to the extent that we think social media is having a negative influence on us, while in actual fact we are having a negative influence on social media. Self-talk
We are
simply
the
says
enemy.
how many people write statuses and later read their own statuses. Not just to read them even just to check what other people say on the status. So in a nutshell, we all have a voice that says, I want to talk to myself.
Okay.
But we feel like I'm inadequate to talk to myself. We feel like I need external validation. You see? But there are people who write beautiful letters to themselves. There are people who wake up in the morning, go in front of the mirror, as they comb their hair, they remind themselves, girl, you've got this. Boy, you are more than what you are going through.
Okay.
Tomorrow is better than today.
Okay.
And we are going to survive today.
Okay.
It's not something that has to be so formal in terms of saying it's a simple thing. As you are driving your car, as you are listening to your choice of music, let the song talk to you. Let the song talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, music is very powerful.
Yeah, it is.
And I believe in music therapy. You know, so, I mean, imagine waking up in the morning, you are driving for work, you know you've got a stressful work environment, but as you drive your car, you are like, I believe it's turning around for me, around for me. I mean, what does it do? What does it do to your side, kind of thing?
True.
I mean, driving your car, kanyisi kandle sizo pumelela sizo, and as you say it and as you sing it, your mind believes it, and as you believe it, it has an impact on you.
Yeah.
Now, but what I want to zero my focus in as far as self-talk is concerned, it's very, very important. It's a very, very powerful tool. The law of hiding in mental health says every human behavior is a manifestation of a certain seed that was deposited as a thought. In a nutshell, the ancestor of all behaviors is thoughts.
Okay.
Now, you need to harness your thoughts.
Okay.
The problem is with most young people is like you said, people make us think the way we think. People give us what to think about. So self-talk is about giving yourself what to think about.
Okay.
See, self-talk is all about saying they have a problem with my academic grades. They have a problem with my qualifications that have no experience. They have a problem with my family and my family's surname as far as things are concerned. But what do I tell myself? This is the best surname. My qualifications are okay. Some companies will actually not accept me because I'm actually way bigger than that what they have. Some doors are closing for me because I'm actually bigger than those doors. Sometimes it's relationship breakdown because so many young people are stuck at the state of relationships. It has not worked and you are still holding on to it. You need to talk to yourself, dude, if that girl wasn't the one, then the one who's coming is way, way amazing. And as you tell yourself that, your mind says, she wasn't my lung. I still can breathe. And I will still find someone. So you are cracking and breaking all those.
And you have, in that point, you have touched a matter, where we have seen a lot of suicides relating to people killing themselves because of breakups. And so it's something that we can pick up from. But just to move on from that practical tip of self-talk guarding our thoughts, we move on to real circumstances that other real circumstances that our mentees have faced, which include death. In time of COVID, there was a lot of death. A mother dies, a father dies, a aunt dies. So the things, there's war inside the continent and outside of the continent, which directly affects us. There's retrenchments. These are the things that we are facing. We are saying Africa is your time, but there's a lot of disturbances. Yes, it's uneven, but we are saying even through that, we still want Africans to thrive. How do we navigate this uneven ground? I put on a few examples, but there's a lot that's happening. How do we navigate with a strong mental health?
Let's borrow from nature. Let's borrow from nature. First things first, let's look at an ostrich. Amazing bird. But there's a principle that comes with an ostrich. You bury your head in the sand like an ostrich. When an ostrich is confronted with problems, it digs a hole, it puts the head in the hole. If I cannot see it, then it's gone. That's an ostrich. Immediately it comes out of the hole, it's a new different environment. My problems are gone. Now, why am I bringing in the aspect of the ostrich? To bury your head in the sand does not remove the problem. You are lying to yourself. You are denying the problem. Now let's talk to young people. So many young people are burying themselves in the sand of alcohol. They use substances to try and cope. Some are burying themselves in the sand of actually multiple concurrent partners, relationships, because I need something to keep me busy. So let me talk to Notando, talk to Smangele, talk to Nosipo. You are burying your head in the sand. You are not dealing with the actual problem. Some other young people are actually, this may not sound relevant, but let me just say it. Some other people find a platform to express their anger and aggression through political unrest. This person is angry, this person is hurt, this person is broken, and this person is like, here's an opportunity to go for looting. And it's unacceptable. That person is burying the head in the sand. No, from the ostrich we then derive a principle: confrontation. That's where we need to start, young people. We need to confront things. Stop pretending as if you are okay. We need to hold and grab the bull by its horn. Where am I? What am I dealing with? What opportunities do I have? Where am I struggling? Now, that will inform the step that you take. It may inform that you need to talk to someone about something. It may need that you need to build a new network in terms of saying, who is thriving in the business area where I'm not thriving? Then go network with that person and actually learn from that person. You see, now, again, let's go back to nature. The big five. Let's learn from the lion. No matter how much the situation of the jungle, how bad it can be, a lion will never eat grass.
So never settle for less.
We actually say that now, who are you? Don't allow circumstance or situation to define you, such that your dream should not be compromised by what you are going through. I'm a lion, I eat fresh meat. I can travel for days, but I must get fresh meat.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lion eats.
Yeah.
Now look at a lion. A lion never analyzes the size of prey. It sees an elephant perspective, lunch.
Yeah.
It sees a hippo perspective, lunch.
Okay.
It sees a rat, a warthog perspective, size doesn't matter, lunch. Young people should not be afraid to start small in releasing their uniqueness.
Okay.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. But the problem is the majority of us want to start big. All of a sudden you are running a laboratory company that tests organizing. No, you need to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You need to start. Buy the kit for yourself, test your family. If it works for your family, then grow it. Buy the kits, I can test the neighbors.
Okay.
Then charge for it.
Yeah.
The whole neighborhood is tested by you at a fee. Then
Yeah.
it grows
Yeah.
until you register a company. But you started somewhere. How did you start? Self-concept, opportunity. Now, from the big five, again, we can learn a principle from the leopard. I don't know how the leopard competes with the cheetah in terms of the big five.
Okay.
But all we know is that these are animals that are kind of appreciated for the color of their skin.
Right.
So it says that in every situation you are unique. You will be troubled by the things that trouble no one else but you and you alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so many
yeah.
a times in your problems, you are the solution of that problem. Young people must know that when we are pushed to a corner, you will always be worried by a certain unique line of thinking. That's where your purpose and that's where your bread is.
Okay. Okay.
Don't fight it. Look for opportunity there. Release yourself. Grow in it. Why are you worried about people and their hair during COVID-19? Because you can provide the service. Why are you worried about people and their cars not going to the car wash? What if you are the one who takes the bucket and go and do that? We start small and we grow.
Okay.
Why are you worried about online marketing and online trading? That's where your passion and your breakthrough is.
Yeah.
So the leopard from the big five teaches us the powerful concept of our uniqueness.
Okay.
But the cheetah has got speed. The leopard does not have speed. It has got stealth. The power of being strategic.
Okay.
Strategy. Young people have got beautiful, brilliant ideas, but they don't invest in strategy. How do I get it rolling? How do I get it running? Strategy simply says sometimes you need to go to the National Psychiatric Referral Hospital and ask for help.
It's part of the strategy.
Go for help. I'm struggling to accept that my girlfriend has left me and I'm not coping. Depression is lingering. I am maladapting. I am now angry. Go for help. That's a strategy. It's a self-help strategy. Sometimes you realize that, you know what, I don't want to go to a counselor. I'm too big for counselors. And go for a pastor.
Yeah.
Talk to a pastor.
They're always available.
Talk to a pastor.
Yeah.
If you can't talk to a pastor, find a friend. You see, the trick with strategy says, speaking out about your discomfort does not bring the solution. But speaking out is more like putting down the load on yourself. It's more like saying, instead of it weighing me down internally, I'm putting it in front of me.
Yeah.
Let's say you can navigate around it.
Yeah.
You can ride up. You can go over it. You can actually kick it.
Yeah.
But so long as it's within you, it's weighing
And
you
we have a lot of people that have
weighing you down.
that weigh down that baggage within themselves.
Yeah.
So I think today's advice is go out there, find someone you can talk to, and weigh it down so that you can navigate through it. Thank you so much. And I like that, you know, since the start of our discussion, you've been sort of revealing the things that young African people have within them. So from the start of this conversation, solutions, self-discovery, self-knowledge has been coming through. So, excuse me.
But most importantly, sorry to chip in, self-acceptance.
Great. Yeah.
Self-acceptance. Because that is where most African geniuses are stuck. I mean, the greatest of our time.
Yeah.
Are stuck at
this is who I am.
Like, I am me. I'm okay the way I am.
Right.
And I'm adequate to survive in this time. And I will rise up to the challenge. So many of them are battling a lot of I'm sorry, I chipped in.
No.
But I was just doing an analysis from a mental health perspective. Looking at how we put our mascara and how we put our, you know, how we struggle about, our eyelashes and how men are about six-pack and all that. Like, it's not a problem. But it just got me thinking in the variations. If God made the mistake of giving us the clay to create our own bodies, how many people would still be stuck, still trying to change something?
Yeah,
See,
right.
but he saw it fit that this nose is okay. He saw it fit that this head that has got these interesting corners will master Pythagoras rules, physics,
Yes.
chemistry, and
Yeah,
all the like.
yeah.
Accept it.
Yeah.
And of all the families, of all the parents, because some are still battling their parents' battles, you're still dealing with your background. Like you never chose where you never chose
But
the
they're
family you
saying
were
it's
called there.
affecting me. I can't think out of it. I can't break out.
Exactly. So strategy now says, learning from the buffalo, buffaloes flying heads. If I can't have a family at home, I
Yeah.
can have a family in church. I can have a family in my soccer team. Now, when I have a family in my soccer team, the bond says I can open up to someone.
Right,
You see,
right.
if it's affecting you, it's therefore taking time in terms of your thoughts.
It is.
And time and again, you want to suppress the volume of the thoughts by drinking, sometimes by alcohol, sometimes
Yeah.
by all these attention-seeking behaviors. Talk about it.
Okay.
I want to bring in the subject of confrontation.
Okay.
Confront it before it confronts you.
Okay.
So many people have the potential. They have got the ideologies, but when they're about to crack it, there's just that reminder that, but you remember you're dead.
But is it a
but you
conscious or
remember,
an unconscious reminder? Like, does it come like the self-limiting tendencies that we have, which I think you are touching on? Can a young person know that, I'm stopping because my dad stopped? Is it conscious or unconscious?
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
It's a bit of both. By default, our minds always embrace reference points, sometimes even without our consultation.
Right,
Let me
right.
make a very silly example.
Okay.
Here's a young boy who grew up seeing his dad beating his mom.
Yeah.
And he hated it.
Yeah.
Like he was disgusted.
Yeah.
And let me say in this platform, we are against GBV.
We very, very much against.
Men out there, no
EraAfrica
more
stands
gender-based violence.
against gender-based
Exactly. But
violence.
here's this young boy who hated his dad
Yeah.
for beating up his mom.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that subconsciously he has sowed a seed
Okay.
that a man can beat a woman. But
Yeah.
he doesn't know why. Lo and behold, he's in a relationship. As he's dating, for some reason, the girlfriend chooses to give the same shares that he gives to him to the friend. And then lo and behold, when he's thinking about why would he do that? Why would my friend do that? As the emotions, he was like, this is the thing that made my dad. You see the reference point? It's now encroaching. And actually saying, no wonder my dad was beating this woman. He hated it at that point, but it was subconsciously sown. It's now influencing the behavior. So what's the catch? Speak out.
Okay.
Let go of your. You see, thoughts are not like socks. You see, you put on your socks, they're dirty, then you wash them. Thoughts are not like that. But thoughts are like a balloon.
Okay.
A balloon is beautiful when it's inflated.
Yeah.
If it's not inflated, it's not a nice balloon.
Okay.
But a balloon needs to be blown by air.
Yeah.
A balloon blown by natural air is different from a balloon blown by what's this other helium gas.
Yeah.
They are not the same. They float differently.
Yeah.
But here's the catch. If you have this balloon being inflated by hot air today, cold air tomorrow, you inflated some days with water, you inflated some days with some food, it will burst.
Yeah.
See? But time and again, you need to let go of the cold water.
Okay.
I mean the cold air.
Yeah.
So that you can be able to some kind of put in clean air. So our thoughts need that kind of regulation that says speak it out.
Yeah.
As you speak it out, it's like you are letting go of the hot air. Now you are in a position to receive different kind of air.
Okay. So we said speak out to. You can go to psychiatric center, go to your pastor.
You can
to
find a
friend.
psychologist. We have private psychologists.
Yeah.
You can find a significant other, malume, auntie, but somebody that you really confide in.
Yeah.
Some other people say I talk to a tree. It sounds bizarre, but the truth of the matter is the person has spoken out.
Right.
And I have no problem with people talking to God. Psychological studies have proven that women who go to church,
Yeah, I saw
scream,
that.
shout in
Yeah,
church,
yeah.
tend to live longer than women who do not.
Right. I
The
saw that
principle
study.
there,
I saw
I will
it in
never
the
minimize
newspaper.
the power of God. But the principle right there, psychological, is you are ventilating.
Yeah.
So as you say, hallelujah, oh, my church, and the tears go down, they come out with cortisol, the negative neurotransmitter, the negative hormone that causes our blood vessels to constrict.
Okay.
That's the one we also perspire when we are exercising. We release it for free in church.
Yeah. So let's go to church. In summary, thank you so much for raising those important points, and I think we have to near the end of this interview. It's been exciting. It's been educational. I feel we have scratched just the surface.
Somewhere there.
But there is a young person. One is at the stage of anxiety. Another one is now at the stage of stress. Another one is now at the stage of depression. All of them today, they are watching and they want to hear something for themselves. So let's start with, I'm still at the stage, I'm just anxious about my future. University students are striking. Will we write our exams? I'm anxious about that. To quote the now, I'm anxious about the unrest that I'm seeing. I'm anxious, so many things that make us anxious. How do we first deal with anxious, maybe briefly, then we go to stress, and then now full-blown depression?
Okay. Can I flip it to the other side?
Good.
Because it's the stress that causes anxiety.
Oh, okay, let's
But
flip.
the anxiety can also be a stressor.
Okay.
Because what we must appreciate is there's a difference between stress and a stressor. Stress is the physiologic response to a perceived threat or an actual threat. That threat is the stressor. That's the starting point.
Okay.
Now, having said that, let's build a premise. We need stress to survive.
Okay, there we go.
If there was no stress, there wouldn't be a platform like EraAfrica.
Yeah.
So every kind of stress that causes us to do something positive is called eustress. So we need stress.
Okay.
All the people who are married today
they were stressed.
were married because of stress.
Okay.
All the people who are in class today pursuing something, all businessmen, stress forced them.
I'm
to
glad
do
that we
those
found
businesses.
something positive
We
about
need
stress.
to survive.
Yeah.
You see? But the trick lies in our perception of the stress. And over and above that, what questions do you ask yourself when you are stressed?
Yes.
And I want to send a token like a blank check. The most important question you should ask yourself is not why now, is not why me,
Okay.
is not where was God, is not what will people say.
And those are the questions we ask ourselves on the
Exactly.
daily.
The most important question you should ask yourself is what can I do about it?
Okay. What
can I do about it?
I am
Sure,
an
it has
athlete.
happened.
I can.
I've lost my significant other, and what can I do about it? I will take a journey towards acceptance. I've lost my job. What can I do about it?
Yeah.
I will take a journey towards acceptance, and having accepted, I'm going to start a new journey of saying what opportunities do I have?
Okay.
What doors can I knock?
Okay.
And once you start asking the right questions, you will unlock the right seasons.
Okay.
So we are starting from a premise that says we need stress.
Okay.
However, flip side to it, we have negative stress. That is what we call now de-stress.
Okay.
That is when a person is not coping
Yeah.
with the stress.
Yeah.
Now, if I say stress is a physiologic response, remember the 5 dimensions that I talk about. Meaning when you are stressed, you respond physically. There are people whom when they are stressed release a lot of hydrochloric acid, then they have peptic ulcers. When we are stressed, it affects the way we think. It affects our decisions. Some other people develop what we call decision-making fatigue.
Okay.
I'm just tired of deciding
Yeah.
what to wear. I'm just tired of deciding what to eat. I'm just tired of being tired in my tiredness. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
It's all in the mind.
Okay.
And now anxiety as a disorder emanates from that premise of the mind. How does it come about? Anxiety comes in so many different facets. But one classical and one key one is the power of control, especially with women. It is nice to be in control. I'm in control of my time. I'm in control of my schedule. I'm in control of my relationships. I'm in control of my money. I'm in control of my destiny.
Yeah.
But COVID-19 came to strip us our control. So in as far as anxiety is concerned, let's make peace with it. We are not in control.
Okay.
If we're not in control of what is happening around us, there's one thing we're continually in control of. We are in control of our decisions.
Okay.
I'm in control of what to decide. I am in control of what to choose. Now, in as far as anxiety is concerned, there are destructive things you can do to shift your focus from what is making you anxious.
Okay.
You can go for music therapy, you can take a walk, you can find a sport or a hobby. But for some other people, relaxation exercises come in handy. Because anxiety is never like a storm. You always feel the trigger, you feel the build up, you feel the tension, and then you're like, okay, see, it's coming. And then what you do, you pause, you take in a breath, you breathe in, 1, 2, 3, then you breathe out. By so doing, you are restarting your cognition to actually say, dude, it's haywire, it's up there, but come down. So in as far as anxiety is concerned, we have some other strategies. But the most important thing is deal with what is causing the anxiety. Talk about it.
Okay.
See, have a friend who will not judge you, will accept you. My friend, I think I'm losing it. What's happening, my friend? I'm just thinking about the whole COVID. I saw people dying, and I'm thinking about my family, and I'm like, what will I do about it? And then your friend saying, calm down. It's okay. It's okay. We've got this. Okay. It's happening in other countries. It's not yet happening in Eswatini. Find somebody who will give you reassurance.
Right.
Now, physical, mental. Then we've got the emotional. That's where depression comes in. Depression is not a one-day thing. Sometimes I like to shift people's focus, because immediately you say depression, people just become gloomy. You know, it's not a nice feeling. And I would like to speak to somebody who's depressed. Like, you feel like it's okay to be alone. You feel so hopeless, like you are in a pit, you are trapped. And there's so many causes of it. Like, there's so many causes of depression, but we need to deal with it. But how can you identify somebody who's depressed? Most of the time they are sad. Okay. They have negative thoughts. Okay. Then they think about killing themselves. They feel worthless. They feel hopeless. They lose interest in all pleasurable activities, like total loss of interest. I don't want to be with people. I don't want to eat. I don't want to sleep. Well, then what do you want? I just want my space. You know, only to find that that's a strategy of isolation. If you're isolated, you are helpless. You need to interact with people, because depressed people think their situation is the worst of all people, only to find that there are people who are even deeper, worse situations who are going that. But when we reach out, we tend to be assisted. Now, you were saying, what do we do about? Here is my message to that young person. Now, I would like to encourage you to reach out for help. Okay, if you are dealing with, actually, can I say it in Siswati? Akusilo lihlazo kuhlupheka, kepha kulihlazo kuhlazeka ngethi uyahlupheka. Okay. Depression is not a problem, but it is a problem to become depressed by your depression. Okay, it's a kind of thing that says, what do you do about it? That is a problem, not what you are actually going through. So whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's substance use, whether it's issues of continually giving up, because for some other people it's just the uncertainty. It's just too much, because we've got different adaptive potentials. I would say reach out, call for help. Starting point is usually what we say, emotional intelligence. That's where you usually start. Okay. Emotional intelligence says self-awareness. Are you aware of yourself? Try to put your strengths and your coping mechanisms to the test. If they are failing, you realize that you can't rely on yourself. Then you need external support. Talk to your mom, talk to your dad, talk to your friend. You can even reach out to EraAfrica. You see, but talk to someone about what you are going through. You don't talk to people because they have a solution. I repeat, you talk to people as a way of taking it out of your system so that it doesn't weigh you down. A problem shared is a problem half solved. See, talk to someone about it. And then last but not least, find something that motivates you. That does not make sense to a depressed person, because motivation doesn't exist when you are depressed. See, so for you, we cannot speak about finding something to motivate you. We can speak about self-regulation. You need to start regulating yourself. Where do I start? You see, when you are depressed, you ask yourself a lot of questions. And in most cases, you don't have answers to your own questions. Then that makes you more depressed. So self-regulation says, write a letter to someone about the questions that you have. Send a voice note to someone about the thoughts that you have. Go to your status on Facebook, reach out for someone. Take it out. Now, thought regulation says, I don't know why there are people who are depressed by rape. And I'm so sorry about that. I don't know why they suddenly listen to songs that worsen the situation. You need to regulate your input if you want to change your output. So if the input is the same, the output will be the same. So change your music collection.
Okay.
Stop listening to Beyonce, Helium. Stop listening to all these songs that kind of
bring you down,
take
still
the energy to you, but go for something positive, something that will lighten up, something that will cheer your day. I mean, it's a huge subject which we cannot exhaust.
Yeah, it's really a huge subject that we have really, as we've said before, just touched just scratched the surface. But from here, we hope we have given you a springboard on where to go out to look for help, because still your dreams are valid. It's non-negotiable that you still have to achieve what you set out to achieve, despite what has come, I don't know, to us, over us, around us, but we still have to achieve what you have to achieve. So we can't thank you enough for coming here and explaining so much that we didn't know about the subject of mental health, how we can take care of ourselves, starting from even physical, spiritual, emotionally, and the many levels that make us who we are. So thank you so much. The avenues of help that are there, reaching out, that can be done by us in whatever state that you are in. So we'd like at this juncture to take your final parting shots, and we close this interview.
I don't know why I went for mental health, because I'm tall.
Okay.
And I struggle to speak minimally, but
Okay.
let me do my best.
Great.
Two important things. There's one statement that changed my life. I want to honor the man who said it. He's actually in the Christendom, in the religion sector. Babe Hlachwako. He said, life will always pay you for every problem you solve. If you want to have money, look for people's problems, provide the solution. Life will pay you. We still need a lot of people in the field of mental health. It's a beautiful profession that forces you to help someone without a drug. I don't need an injection, I'm the injection. I don't have tools, but I can navigate in your mind. I can unscrew, change some bolts and nuts in your head. That's the passion that we need to have of it. Whether you go for psychology, whether you go for mental health, but we still need people who will specialize. So can I just throw the challenge to young people out there? There's just a lot of virgin ground in mental health. Children, adolescent, young adults transitioning into marriage, family therapy, industries in terms of your industrial psychology, your clinical psychology, your educational psychology. Like, there's just a lot of gray area. And when you pick up your eyes, when you speculate, people will need a lot of life coaches. People will need a lot of motivational speakers. And now is the platform to position yourself. You see, life is about seasons, and each season judges the preparation of the previous season. Because right now we are in a season of preparing for the 5th wave of COVID, and those who are prepared are not shaking. But those who did not prepare will actually be caught by the storm. So 5 years from now, what are you doing to prepare yourself for that? You can be in business, you can be in accounting, but you need some element of mental health in it. So enroll for an online certificate, diploma, degree, but position yourself for the mental challenges that will come in the near future. With those many words, I would like to commend and appreciate all the people who are doing well out there in the field of mental health. It's so funny that when you do mental health, you take care of other people, and sometimes no one takes care of you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's the beauty of it or not, but guys, you are doing well.